3 News Now this week.
At St. Wenceslas Catholic School on Monday, there's a day to say thank you.
We will always need the serviceman and the servicewoman to defend this country. Because there will always be people out there that are greedy, have an ideology they want to oppose on us, or just full of hate.
The school hosted dozens of veterans from the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard, bringing them in a procession one by one. Many of those same vets brought spouses, who also were honored.
They missed birthday celebrations, they missed their children's sporting events, they missed their assemblies at school and all. And so those remaining had to be the ones to be both parents and to make sure that the home front was maintained.
Army vet Tom Selsley was thrilled he got to spend the day at his grandkids' school. But still, every year on this day, he thinks about his dad.
He was a tail gunner on the B-17, and I think he was really the true hero. And it just makes me miss him because he passed away about 6 or 7 years ago.
The most touching moment came when all the vets at the ceremony got a special gift. Handmade cards and necklaces from first and second graders at the school. Congressman Don Bacon also got emotional when he told the story of a colleague who died in the Middle East. And that plenty of those in the school gymnasium have similar stories.
But I would tell you, all the veterans today know someone, different name, different story, but the same sacrifice and the same courage. We can't forget those who gave their all.
For the land of Poultry and the home of the brave.
In Omaha, John Kipper, 3 News Now.
And Amy Melton wants to start a conversation when it comes to the mayor's salary.
Mayor Stothert, when she was first elected in 2013, voluntarily reduced her salary by 10%.
Now the councilwoman says it's time for the mayor to get a raise.
With the discussion of equal pay between the genders, you know, it's come up that we are actually paying our female mayor in the city of Omaha much less than other cities of the same size.
Melton says her staff have looked into salaries of other cities that are about the same population size as Omaha. What she found caught her by surprise.
And as it turns out, our mayor is being paid about 18% less than other mayors in cities of a similar size.
The increase in salary would be gradual. 3% increase over a couple years.
It all comes from the general fund. And I do think that a $20,000 increase is something that our budget could probably withstand without much pain.
Male or female, Omaha residents say whoever the mayor is, their pay should be comparable to similar cities around the country.
It's not necessarily a male-female thing. It should be what's commensurate with what's mayors are paid in the city of the size of Omaha.
Others don't care too much about population size. They believe pay should reflect job performance.
It shouldn't just be whether you're female, whether you're getting a raise. It should be the job, the job performance.
Councilwoman Melton says the mayor has done a great job thus far.
The mayor has a lot of responsibility, and I think she's done an excellent job. And I do think that the salary we pay our mayor should be commensurate with what other cities of our size are paying their mayors.
So why has a pay increase for the mayor not been proposed before? According to Melton, simply no one on council has taken up the task.
I think just because councils in the past, just no one's done the research and no one's proposed the increase.
Reporting in Omaha, Rudolph Snyder, 3 News Now.
The loading and unloading of fresh produce has become more common for local food banks across the nation. Products that would normally be sold overseas are now being bought by our government due to tariff retaliations from China, and this is helping fill the shelves at local food pantries.
Over the span of 12 months, Food Bank for the Heartland saw an increase of 1.4 million pounds of food, and they say a large chunk of this is coming from trade mitigation.
We've received about twice as many products from USDA because of trade mitigation than we have in the past.
Brian Barks, CEO of Omaha's Food Bank for the Heartland, says they started seeing the influx in December of 2018 when the trade war was starting to impact the farming community. For growers, this was frustrating, but Barks says the farmers he's talked to are at least happy the product is not being wasted.
The product is being used and is seen as highly valuable by food banks and is being put to use for exactly what we need to do, which is feed people who need assistance.
He adds it's not just the quantity of product the food bank has received. Bark says the donations from the trade war have led to healthier options for those in need of food. The USDA says in the last year they have bought roughly $1.2 billion worth of fresh product in the first round of trade mitigation, things like pork, apples, dairy, and potatoes. Bark says until a deal is made with China, they will take as much as this as they can get.
That's impossible amount of food for us to make up, to replace in our inventory. We're grateful for when we get it. We're grateful for the quality of product that it is and that we are able to feed people who need it.
President Trump has hinted the U.S. is getting closer to a trade deal with China, but no time frame has been set.
Barks added they do receive a slight reimbursement for their costs of storing and distributing that extra food. However, that government assistance does not cover the entire cost of doing so. Live in the studio, Kent Lutzen, 3 News Now.
1, 2, 3.
What an awesome sight there. The program found both of the birds with injuries and were able to help them both recover. One of the bald eagles was found with a hole in her metacarpals from what they believe was a gunshot wound. The other eagle came to them with a fractured wrist and dislocated radius.
Being able to see them fly free is amazing. I see Fisher and Freedom at the forest every weekend, and so seeing them free range is pretty amazing.
The recovery program says the prognosis of the birds were guarded until about a month ago when they were actually both able to fly to high perches in trees.
He really undermined the public's trust.
Mayor Gene Stothert does not think Steve LeClair deserves a second chance. LeClair pleaded no contest in February to 2 charges after getting into an altercation with a black woman at Tiger Tom's bar last year. In this security video the city released today, you can see LeClair in a white hat and gray sweatshirt speaking to a woman at the bar and eventually striking her in the back. The woman later said LeClair said, "White power."
Maybe it's because I'm a woman, but I think that women being assaulted, men have to be accountable for it.
LeClair says in a statement he regrets his decision but did not punch a woman and isn't racist. Also saying, quote, "The action taken by the city to terminate my employment was simply put, politically motivated, and I am satisfied that the arbitrator reviewed the evidence and determined I was not afforded due process." Stothert points to the fact that after initially pleading not guilty, LeClair pleaded no contest.
There was a statement made he wasn't given due process. Well, due process changes when somebody admits that they did it.
LeClair's lawyers say the city's investigation was abnormal and that he was targeted by the mayor and city.
And as bad as Steve LeClair feels about it, we were going to use it to cut him off at the knees because he has been a powerful advocate for labor and for this union for 10 years.
LeClair's attorney also said the victim's story changed as the process went on and also contested that he said white power, instead saying what white power.
The way that we interpret is simply a unartful effort on that particular night to look at a diverse group of people and say, what white power? It was the wrong time, the wrong place, the wrong person, but there was no ill motive, no ill intent on his behalf.
Fire Chief Dan Olson says if LeClair is allowed back on a fire truck, it'll hurt his department's reputation.
So it definitely has a negative impact on the image of the Omaha Fire Department. It's my job every day to uphold that image.
While the treasurer of the union says the city's action will hurt firefighter morale.
People notice that, and they notice that it could be me next time. And it's really hard to go to work in that type of environment.
And now all of this is happening while the city and the fire union are negotiating a new contract with LeClair present. Both sides say that still they're close to coming to a new agreement. Reporting in studio, John Kipper, 3 News Now.
A Buc-ee's, Come and Go, a Family Dollar, and Tobacco Road discounts all held up at gunpoint. In 2 of them, the suspects fired a gun. We talked to a clerk who didn't want to be identified.
I'm shot. I was alone in the street, alone too, parking alone, so man, I was thinking this is my last day.
18-year-old Jaleo McGuire, who was 17 at the time, and 16-year-old Herbert Coleman Jr. are arrested for the 4 armed robberies. Both are being charged as adults. A search warrant indicates McGuire was already on probation wearing an ankle monitor.
They recognize there's no consequences for their actions, and they continue to do the same things over and over.
Omaha Police Officer Association President Anthony Connor says officers are frustrated by some juvenile offenders who laugh when they're caught because they won't stay in detention for long.
You recognize right away that it's the same. It's just the same cycle. It's the same problem over and over again. You're arresting the same kid. He's on an ankle monitor for a reason because he's already done something pretty serious to be on an ankle monitor.
Connor says county commissioners need to rethink the Juvenile Justice Center, which would cut the number of beds. He says officers and parents of kids who have been in the system need to be part of the reform discussion to make a change.
A lot of times these juveniles are coming from broken homes or come from homes where there's been patterns of violence. Maybe they're dealing with their own violence. They're running away from certain things. You got to address that root cause if you're going to truly change that juvenile.
The OPOA says they're going to start getting more involved in things like the Douglas County Commissioners' elections to make sure voters know exactly where the candidates stand on issues like the Juvenile Justice Center. Reporting from 132nd and West Center, Jake Wazakowski, 3 News Now.
It used to be you snooze, you lose for holiday flight deals. But a AAA report shows for the last 3 years, it was procrastinators walking away with the steal. The travel company collected data on holiday flight prices from 2016 to 2018. Travelers who held off to book less than 2 weeks out from either Thanksgiving or Christmas actually got the best deal. For the planners, those who bought flights 61 to 180 days out from Thanksgiving paid about $40 more than those who procrastinated.
I usually search just like Google Flights to start with.
While it might pay off to delay, most Omaha residents we talked with are not willing to gamble with their holiday travel.
I do like to have it planned ahead, and I would get nervous that the flight would get booked. I feel like if I was waiting to the last minute.
As for others, planning ahead helps with their budget.
I usually go about 3 weeks because I figure that that's when I can get the best deal, and then at least I'll be able to save up another paycheck before, I go on my trip.
Well, it's my husband who buy it, but I look, of course, the cheapest one. Also, we have sometimes the card and we have points. So we play with that too.
AAA does warn people to plan accordingly. You could snag a great deal waiting, or you could be grounded with no available flights this holiday season. Now, I don't think I could personally wait. I'd be a little bit nervous not finding a ticket. Now, the Federal Aviation Administration says there are also fewer planes in the air this holiday season with the grounding of 737s. Those are expected to be out of service until after the New Year's.
You're never going to take beef state away from Nebraska, and we're not trying to. But at the end of the day, it's just a new product. It's a new way for some families in Nebraska to diversify their operations.
The Lincoln Premium Poultry Plant is a chicken's worst nightmare. The brand new plant processes 40% of Costco's supply nationwide. That totals up to 100,000 chickens a day with the goal of 2 million per week.
The poultry industry has grown exponentially in the state of Nebraska, but comparatively to other parts of the country where poultry is prevalent, we're still a very, very small player.
To supply the poultry, the plant's in agreement with nearly 100 farms across the region. Each one raises 60 to 350,000 chickens until they're 6 pounds in size.
It's a new type of protein production in our state.
For me, it was an easy choice. It was farm families, existing farms that already had an operation, and it was complementing their business.
Bob Missel is the chairman of the Dodge County Board of Supervisors. He said the new plant and its 660 to 1,000 employees have been a bright spot for the community.
Fremont's around 26,000 people, Dodge County's around 34,000, and you add that many employees to the mix, that moves the needle.
And for those wondering, this plant won't run out of chickens anytime soon.
Our operation has the poultry we need. We had a backup list of other farmers who are interested, so we'll have all the poultry we need for this facility.
Reporting in Fremont, Phil Bergman, 3 News Now.
Some call it the 90-day cough because it can last up to 90 days.
It's a very tricky bacteria. It starts out like a normal cough,
and then that cough turns into one that's very persistent.
Pertussis, also known as whooping cough, is a dangerous and contagious disease.
Some people even break ribs when they're coughing.
Last week in Douglas County, there were 3 reported cases of whooping cough. 1 student in the Bellevue Public School District and 2 in the Millard Public School District.
You know, we're in that season. We've seen it in the community.
The school districts say there have been no additional cases since then, and that on days off, the buildings were heavily cleaned and sanitized. Sarpy County also had 3 reported cases last Friday, scattered throughout a couple of the schools in the area, including Papillion La Vista High School, Liberty Middle School, and La Vista Middle School. School officials also tell us there have been no more reported cases since those 3. According to the Sarpy Cass Health Department, when a student is confirmed to have pertussis, they have to stay home for the complete 5 days of treatment and antibiotic.
So they can return on the 6th day.
Some good tips to follow when it comes to the whooping cough includes washing those hands, covering a cough if you have one, staying at home if you experience any symptoms, and most importantly, getting the shot.
Make sure that they're up to date with their immunizations. That's the best defense that we have.
Reporting in Sarpy County, Ruta Olsenida, 3 News Now.
White crosses, flowers, or small reminders of a lost loved one can often be found placed along highways. For family members, a place to remember. For drivers, a reminder of what could happen anytime you get behind the wheel. However, Nebraska's Department of Transportation has implemented a new policy that will change how these memorials look, and it comes at a price.
The purpose of this policy is about safety. It's safety for to the highway user and safety for any grieving families that want to recognize a family member that was a victim of a crash.
NDOT's policy will replace personalized memorials with a more standard sign, like the one shown here.
Any fluttering or anything that causes your eye to wander while you're traveling down the roadway is a distraction. And so a sign is not a distraction.
They say only immediate family members can apply for a sign to be placed in a requested but safe location. These signs will cost family members $50 and stay up for 2 years.
And that cost covers the cost of the sign and then the cost of the installation. So again, it's not cheap to put these things up.
The department says immediate family members have 10 years from the time of the crash to apply for one of these new signs. As part of this transition, NDOT will work with family members who currently have memorials on the state highway system. However, at some point, those personalized memorials will be removed. The department is encouraging those families to contact their local NDOT office for further instruction.
3 News Now took a Facebook poll on what viewers thought on the new policy. A majority, 65%, are not in favor of NDOT's policy. Many of the comments in opposition say they don't think the state signs are personal and this takes away from the grieving stage for family members. Others did not like the $50 cost. Live in the studio, Kent Lutzen, 3 News Now.
On Tuesday evening, as Joshua Garcia had just finished up work, he went to his car, parked at Elmwood Park. But something didn't feel right.
I work here at UNO, and for the past few days, I've felt in my stomach like if I've been followed to my car.
Once he got to his car, he noticed something on his windshield.
At first, I thought it was a parking ticket, but I came to realize that it was a note. And I had checked if other cars around me had received the same note on my windshield, and it was only my car.
It was a note that read, "Illegals are not welcome."
I'm from here. I was born in the United States.
School officials were supposed to meet to discuss the incident on Wednesday. A few minutes before the meeting, it was canceled.
We just postponed it till later to make sure that we're going to have the appropriate kind of responses for students, which is really our primary concern.
But the school has been communicating with students and staff. In a letter sent out by Chancellor Jeffrey Gold, he said that the school is aware of Tuesday's incident and that they, quote, want to address this directly and immediately. At UNO, we tell all of our students, you are welcome here, and that means everyone.
I appreciate the email they sent out to every student here on campus saying that every student belongs here and that no one should feel that they're not part of the UNO community.
Garcia has not filed a police report, but has been in contact with the school and public safety. And while Elmwood Park is technically off campus, many students park there and walk there almost every day.
You know, it's part of our community. And so we're very much concerned about the safety of our students when they're there.
As for Joshua, he has a message for the individual who who left the note.
I wish I could give this person a big hug to show that person that they shouldn't be feeling like this towards me. Yeah, sorry.
School officials say it'll be nearly impossible to find who left the note because there are no cameras in Elmwood Park. Again, the meeting with school officials has been postponed. We will make sure to update you on the new meeting date when more information becomes available. For the Chancellor's full statement on this incident, you can visit our website at 3newsnow.com. Reporting live in studio, Rudolph Sinaida, 3 News Now.
Scared at first, really nervous, really excited, did not know what was going to happen.
Before we get to the one simple click that changed Rebecca Hughes' life, let's start from her childhood.
Being an only child wasn't anything weird. It was a little lonely at times, but at the same time, like, I kind of occupied my time with books.
The 33-year-old Omaha woman who was adopted right after birth grew up thinking she was an only child.
I had no indication whatsoever that I would have another sibling.
She says she's always been curious about her past, however, and after she received a 23andMe DNA testing kit as a present, she wanted to find out more.
What the lab will do is extract the DNA that's found in saliva, in the white blood cells in saliva. For our ancestry reports, we're looking for, genetic similarities to our different reference populations.
Now back to that click. After her results came in, she looked them up.
To see that, like, I had a half-sister, oh my gosh.
She ended up matching with her half-sister, Laura, who lives in Arizona.
We were both very apprehensive at first because we really didn't know how to kind of take this, and I think I shocked her, is what she said.
The two have since met up and took a road trip together to catch up on lost time.
The similarities are unbelievable. We have the exact same facial structure. We have the exact same curly hair, our shade of hair. We're both really, really short. Actually, I'm taller than her, which is so funny because I've never been taller than anybody. So I partly was like, yes, I get that one.
The two are now planning to spend Thanksgiving together, which will be a new experience for both of them.
I think it's just more special that our family's just grown a little bit more, and I'm really excited for Laura to meet everybody.
In Omaha, John Madden, 3 News Now.
The ultimate predator is as dangerous as they come.
Jeremiah Connolly stalked and killed 22-year-old Gina Wilcoxon one evening in September 2018. The 40-year-old is sentenced to a mandatory life in prison without parole in Douglas County District Court. Judge Shelley Stratman didn't let him leave before reminding him of his heinous acts and that he's shown no remorse.
Your twisted and incredulous attempt to justify your acts is nothing short of pathetic and yet terrifying at the same time.
In September of last year, Connolly had been on parole for a short time when he befriended Wilcoxon before abducting her near 36 and Q. He kidnapped her, raped her, then strangled her to death and put duct tape on her nose and mouth. Connolly dumps her body near Fremont before being arrested in Omaha for being in a stolen vehicle.
I mean, when he stopped in that stolen vehicle and then he says, I don't know why you care about the vehicle, you should be looking for this body. And so then the police followed up on it and did a great job from the investigative standpoint of finding her.
Connolly was released early after serving 8 years for an attempted kidnapping, robbery, and arson. Authorities say Connolly said he would have killed that victim if he had the chance.
He was eligible for parole and they put him out on parole, and you almost wish there was some other safeguards though as far as keeping a closer eye on him or watch on him because of the nature of his crimes.
The defendant didn't have anything to say to the judge nor to the people he hurt most after court.
What do you think you'd like to say to the Wilcoxon family?
Judge Stratman concluded saying, thankfully, Connolly will never be free again. On top of getting life in prison without parole, he was sentenced to 2 to 2 years for witness tampering. Reporting in downtown Omaha, Jake Wazakowski, 3 News Now.
Here at KMTV 3 News Now, we believe every child should receive a gift for the holidays. That's why we are teaming up with the Salvation Army and our sponsor, Jensen Tire and Auto, for this year's Angel Tree Toy Drive. Now joining us now is Major Greg Thompson, Divisional Commander from the Salvation Army Western Division. Thanks for joining us this morning.
No problem. Good to be here.
Thank you. Well, there are a lot of toy drives that occur throughout the city. Why does this one stand out?
Well, I think for starters, it's an opportunity for anyone to be involved. You can do it as an individual, you can do it as part of your company or your church or whoever you'd like to be involved with that. And second, we get to do great partnerships like with KMTV and Jensen Tire, who allows us. Jensen Tire is amazing because they allow us in all of their locations in Omaha and Lincoln and Fremont to be a drop-off point for all of those toys.
Yeah, they're a great partner there. it's for those that maybe don't know. Remind us how Angel Tree works. Where are the toys distributed? Where are they collected?
Right. So most people can. All you really have to do is call 898-6083, and you could be a part of our Angel Tree program. And from there, you'll get a packet of information. We will deliver a box to you. We will give you all the information you need, and then from there, all you do is tell everyone that you're an Angel Tree location, and then you collect toys, unwrap toys, and then call us, and we will make sure your toys get picked up in about mid-December because our Toyland actually happens shortly after that.
Right. And how many families will this impact?
We usually serve about 1,500 to 2,000 families in the metro area.
So quite a few, and a lot of them are teens.
Right. And actually, people love to give us those cutesy little toys, because those are the fun ones.
They're the fun to shop
They're the
for,
fun
right.
toys. Everybody knows that. But actually, we serve quite a few teenagers, and they're more difficult to find a toy for, or not a toy, or some kind of gift for. So we encourage people to look at, maybe a cologne, or maybe some type of, even a gift card. If you wanted to give a gift card, we could give those to the teens, and they, because I've had teenagers, and you kind of stop buying them gifts after a while because then you don't know what they want anymore.
Right. And then these types of cases, sometimes they're overlooked into situations,
right?
So I know that you've worked with a lot of charities and toy drives. What's so special about this one? I know that especially in years past, you get to see firsthand the people, the generosity of Omaha and the people. What is that like for you?
Well, I think that's actually one of the I like to call it Midwest nice.
Yes.
I don't know if I've lived in a lot of parts of the country, but this part of the country is just filled with people who understand what helping others is. And so to see the whole community come together and say, hey, we want to help, and everybody, whoever they are, they all say, I need to help. I need to not do something just for me, but something for everyone else. And so seeing that come together is a marvelous opportunity, and we as a Salvation Army then get the opportunity to take that generosity and turn it into service to others.
Right, absolutely. And again, these don't have to be extravagant, expensive gifts. Even the smallest thing can make a difference.
Right. Because what we do is we actually set up a whole Toyland that we call it, and it's like a shopper's choice Toyland. So the toys are put up in ages, and we take people through, and they can then choose whatever toy they like that would fit best for their child.
Absolutely. Now the Angel Tree Drive again starts this Friday through December 13th. So like you said, you can drop off toys for area children here at KMTV 3 News Now or at any of the 21 Jensen Tire and Auto locations around Omaha, Council Bluffs, Bellevue, Fremont, and Lincoln. So make it very easy for everybody. We also have a list of those requested toys at 3newsnow.com. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
No problem. Great to be here.
For the last 20 years, it's safe to say every school district in the country has taken measures to be safer. This includes improving building security and training students and staff. For Ralston Public Schools, it's also about technology, specifically a new app that every staff member will soon have on their phone.
They see something that doesn't look right, they see something that has raised their alarm or their suspicion, they're able to put the building into an appropriate safety mode so that we can make sure their staff and our students are all safe.
The app is called Rave Panic Button. If a teacher sees a possible threat, they simply have to pick up their phone and hit a button. It puts the school on lockdown and directly dials 911, something only one part of the school could do in the past.
We only have one place inside of a building that we're able to do that, and that would be in the main office.
But the new system skips the middleman and gets the cops on school ground much quicker.
30 seconds to a minute in any dangerous situation is crucial.
Now, along with the faster response time, Ralston police say that if there is a threat, they can go into the school and have a pretty good idea on where that threat is.
With that particular staff member hitting that app, they're going to be able to tell exactly where they're at, what they're doing, and that goes directly to dispatch, so there's no guessing.
The whole system costs Ralston Public Schools about $10 grand a year, and they plan to have most teachers on it by the end of December. Reporting in Ralston, John Kipper, 3 News Now.
What's your favorite movie?
Madagascar 2, Escape from Africa.
Not Madagascar 1.
No, 2.
Why?
Alex, the lion.
If you were to make a secret handshake, what would you do?
Yeah, right here. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, hey, hey.
It's kind of complex. Who's your favorite artist right now?
Taylor Swift.
T Swift.
Forever and always.
Did you blink ever?
Never. Did I blink?
No. Who has the best eyes on the team?
Coach Frost.
Scott Frost.
Scott.
Give it to him. Give it to him.
So you play nickel in football. What is your favorite coin?
The dime.
Not the nickel.
No.
If you could be on any bill, what bill would you want your face on?
The $1 million bill.
With Jojo Doman right on the front.
Uh-huh.
Are you a chili and cinnamon roll fan?
I've never tried it.
You've never tried it?
I've never tried it.
Are you a picky eater?
Yes.
Foods you don't like?
Pineapple pizza.
You don't like pineapple?
I like pineapple and I like pizza. I just don't like them together.
If you could do any dance after a tackle, what would you do?
The Macarena.
The Macarena. So after you make a tackle in Wisconsin, you're just gonna... Can we get a preview? What is your favorite sport to watch that's not football?
Soccer.
Soccer.
Football.
Can we hear your best goal?
I go! Rosso!
Hey Jojo, thanks so much for joining me. This was...
Fill in the blank.
Perfect, thanks man.
Let's go! Let's go!
The Old Market as a community, we've all vowed to light our windows.
Little lamps dawn the storefronts of every shop.
It just brings more cheer to the Old Market.
And come November 25th, the Old Market will be the place to come if you want to check out the holiday lights.
When people see what we are doing downtown, the way we're lighting it up this year, it's different, but it's still going to be beautiful.
With the Gene Leahy Mall under renovation, the city had to move its holiday light celebration.
We really didn't give a lot of thought of moving it to another park or something for a while because it is such a tradition down here.
And another impact of the holiday lights, more foot traffic means more business for these Old Market stores.
That's always our hope, is that people will come down and enjoy all the festivities and shop in our stores and eat in our restaurants.
Foot traffic is always good. I think the holiday lights are exciting and warming, and even when it's cold and blustery outside, it kind of warms your heart.
And for a district titled by the old, a new holiday tradition will light up on the bricks.
It will still be a really fun event, a little bit different, but it'll be better.
Reporting in Omaha, Phil Bergman, 3 News Now.
A few changes this year. There won't be a countdown to turn on the lights. The New Year's fireworks show will still go on, but they'll light them off near TD Ameritrade Park and CHI Health Center so people can watch them from the warmth of their cars. Mayor Stothert said the city is already planning how they'll utilize the Gene Leahy Mall for the holiday season once renovations are completed in 2021. The fate of how the Juvenile Justice Center will be paid for is in the courts. The judge hears final oral arguments from both sides in a quick trial. Senior reporter Jake Wazakowski tells us why taxpayers say the people deserve to vote.
The long-debated Juvenile Justice Center finds the funding discussion in Douglas County District Court. Judge J. Michael Coffey will now decide if the city and county can go forward with issuing $114 million in bonds for the proposed center. Former Supreme Court Justice David Lanphier filed the suit as a taxpayer. His attorney, former Judge Patrick McDermott, argues the Joint Building Commission can't move forward on the project since the county will own the building, not jointly with the city. If the judge rules in favor, the juvenile justice bonds will likely be put to a taxpayer vote.
We need a vote. The people demand it, and we need to have it. We need to get it.
Gregory Sexer runs Howlin' Hounds and is the president of Our Omaha. He says people deserve a say in what their money is spent on.
I mean, it's pretty clear, if it's a county jail, paid for by the county, ran by the county, why is the city financing it? It makes no sense at all. Have the county finance it and put it to a vote of the people and enjoy a higher bond rating and a lot more democracy and transparency.
Omaha Deputy City Attorney Bernard Indenbosch argued the state legislature created the building commission so cities and counties could build facilities for their needs. The Douglas County Commissioner and Omaha City Council approved the bonds being sold. If Judge Coffey rules in favor of the county and city, the building commission could issue the bonds without a vote of the people.
The concept is this is a facility that's going to be used by the city and county. Anybody who's arrested, most of the people who are arrested by the City of Omaha Police Department, need to have a place to do it.
So both sides will submit their written arguments by December 2nd, and the judge will make a decision sometime after that. Reporting in downtown Omaha, Jake Wazakowski, 3 News Now.
Very challenging for farmers this year.
From flooded out farmland locally to trade wars overseas, markets for certain crops have taken a hit, which farmer Del Fike has witnessed.
Well, I think a lot of the markets and the prices where they're at are most likely lower than what these guys actually have into it. So they're putting more into the crop than they're getting out of it right now.
So the reason we do this a lot of times is, again, to stick with our philosophy of maximizing your net return per acre.
That philosophy is what Nate Belcher and Matt Ackerman founded their company Hybrid 85 on.
We kind of had to go back and ask ourselves the question of why does a bag of corn cost as much as it does? And we realized there was a lot going into that wasn't necessarily bringing value to the farmer.
Belcher is taking soil samples for next year's crops, which some will contain their non-GMO corn seed. They've cut out the middleman in this process and worked directly with farmers through their online marketplace, which they say has made the cost of doing business cheaper.
Just rough estimates, let's say traditional seed is being sold at about $150 to upwards of $300 a bag. We provide it at $85 a bag.
And during a time where money can be tight for farmers, some like Fike decided to try it.
The price point, or the purchasing a bag of that corn versus something else that's on the market, I mean, lower input costs to start with, but the consistency of the genetics that are in there, I mean, that's proven genetics.
The beauty of that is it allows either that farmer to take that extra money that they save, put it right in their pocket, straight off the top, or using that money to direct it towards inputs that will then increase yield instead of just spend more on seed.
In Seward County, John Madden, 3 News Now.
Hey there, what are you having? Well, if you come here for the Love of Food Truck in Bellevue, you'll be getting a burrito from the place voted best burritos in the States. You don't need the biggest kitchen to cook a good meal.
Hi there. A biscuit and gravy.
Inside for the Love of Food Truck in Bellevue, Moises Salgado and his wife Jacqueline have created their own system to make their space efficient and their food delicious.
My wife is the person who makes the lunches, is all my wife, and the breakfast is all.
So split.
Yeah.
Their specialty, burritos. They were voted best in the state by Yelp.
Oh, they're awesome. Yeah, probably the best burritos around.
On 14-inch tortillas, these burritos are grande, weighing over a pound.
All right. You're fine.
Yeah.
Size of the burritos is big. There's plenty to split.
They serve 7 types of breakfast burritos: chorizo, pork, ham, veggie, sausage, steak, and chicken.
Salsa, eggs, potatoes, chorizo, and our secret homemade cheese sauce.
Each morning they go through nearly 250 eggs, with a couple going into each burrito.
3 to 5 depends. When I see the customer, he needs 5.
What do I
His
look
protein.
like? How many eggs do I need?
2.5.
2.5?
Just kidding. 3.
3, I'm a 3 egg person. Tres huevos.
Tres
New
huevos.
nickname, Tres huevos.
Chorizo ready.
What better way to start your morning
With good breakfast, right?
than with breakfast and 3 News Now this morning? Like, what's your most popular dish?
The most popular dish is in breakfast burritos, the chorizo or the sausage. So
Okay.
let me make one
Yes.
for you.
Okay. Well, if
Alrighty?
you insist, okay. I've never been intimidated by a burrito before. Knowing myself, this is get kind of messy. So I'll probably just put this somewhere. Holy cow, that's good. I love the French fries in there. I think that's like the hidden gem in the burrito. Is that the spice, the secret cheese?
I don't know.
Oh, man. En español, dime, ¿qué hacen? No te van a entender.
Sí, ese es el secreto.
Every bite. Worth every calorie.
Thank you.
Wow. Tres huevos. Finished the whole burrito. For breakfast, they also offer biscuits and gravy served with hash browns, potatoes, and a ham and eggs omelet. Wait, you hand make the biscuits?
We make the biscuits.
Yeah.
Like, you make them. Wow.
It's a secret recipe from my wife's family. They're from Germany.
It really does taste like a cloud. Not a baby. This is a 3-pound, 3-egg burrito baby. Now that was just breakfast. Now it's time to move on to lunchtime.
And then we have the red chili.
For lunch, the menu changes every day. They announce a daily lunch menu on their Facebook page. They have unique types like a Cuban, queso blanco, white wine garlic chicken, and a Mexican Indian curry burrito. So what do you think is the secret to making your burritos the best in the state of Nebraska?
Well, you won't go away hungry. And they're definitely unique. I think I have the most unique burrito that you can find. No one else has a Mexican Indian curry burrito on the menu. No one else has the Nicaraguan. That's our signature. Definitely, no one's had the pozole burrito before. Yeah. I Googled it.
And their price is unbeatable. Their breakfast burritos are $6 and their lunch burritos are $8. So he mentioned you had to take a picture of the menu.
It's for my sister, because when I'm here, she always wants me to bring her something.
As for the Salgados, they love working together.
It's really nice what we do, right? Some people say, we can do it.
Yeah.
Home and still 16 hours. Well, I don't know, it's just because we love each other and we love what we do.
Yeah, and you guys have fun. Yeah, that's good.
2 shootings within a couple of hours of each other, carried out allegedly by one teen. In Douglas County Court, investigators say 17-year-old Jacoby Terry walked into the cheap tobacco and vape on 32nd and L Street with a long rifle, pointed it at the clerk and shot him. 21-year-old Bahi Altiari shot in the heart. Terry, caught on surveillance video, grabs a gun behind the counter and leaves. Prosecutors say the high schooler came for the firearm.
He had been in the store before, in fact, that day earlier, so he had reason to know it was there.
Terry was allegedly with 17-year-old Marshawn Box, who was charged with 2 counts of conspiracy. Investigator Matt Bacora testified Box told police Terry wanted to go do a lick for a glizzy, slang for a Glock or firearm. Investigators say shortly after the murder, Marshawn Box set up a meeting with a Facebook acquaintance to buy shoes as well as possibly a firearm. Terry allegedly pulled out the rifle again and shot at the sellers. The seller, who didn't want to go on camera, told me it was scary and they were lucky to get away. But a bullet that went through the wall of the home struck Jared Sedlicek in the back. Sedlicek was temporarily paralyzed, but I'm told he's now walking with a cane. Terry allegedly told a foster brother about the murder in South Omaha. Prosecutors say his motivation was to steal guns.
The kids with guns, they're getting younger and younger. Guns are plentiful, and it seems to be something they desire to have, and they go to great lengths to get. So it's very, very disturbing, the ages of all of these individuals. I mean, our victim is only 21, and then when you're talking about all the suspects involved and they're high schoolers, it's just, something's got to change.
We were unable to reach Altieri's family for comment. Reporting in Omaha, Jake Wazakowski, 3 News Now.
You just really don't know how much that's going to brighten somebody's day by taking a few minutes and thanking them for what they're doing.
Scott Marasco is approaching 35 years of service. He still remembers the day he received this Christmas card while deployed in Saudi Arabia during the Gulf War.
And what was really neat about it is, as you can see on the front of it, it says to anyone's grandson from the state of Nebraska.
The card came from a 77-year-old grandmother. 30 years later, Marasco still holds on to it.
She highlights, her age and everything else. And at this time, I'm a 22-year-old, combat veteran at the time, and I get this, and it just absolutely resonated with me. And I keep this, and I bring it out every holiday season because this really meant a lot to me back then.
He says the card means even more now.
I recognize that someone took the time to spend 5 or 10 minutes, mail this off, and never know who's going to be on the receiving end of it. Just adds that value to me today. And this is somebody that if I ever had the chance to meet, I would love to meet him.
And that's why people like Rebecca Patlin get the community together every year to send holiday cards to troops.
A lot of the troops they're not with their families. They could be across the seas, across the states. And we want them to be remembered, during the holidays and Christmas.
Local companies are providing thousands of cards for community members to sign. Patlin says cards are personal, coming from one heart to another.
They may not know who the card's from, but we believe that every soldier out there is fighting for our freedoms, and and we honor them.
Just saying that somebody's out there that cares, it's remarkable.
the weight of a growing problem
And you're done. Nice job.
may be impacting your workouts.
Our attendance goes up significantly when the weather turns nasty.
So with more people indoors, it opens the door for problems outdoors.
People will know that once you've walked into the gym, you're going to be in there for at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer. So there probably is more of an opportunity for something to happen.
While you're breaking a sweat, opportunistic thieves are breaking the law.
We've had an increased report of thefts from fitness centers.
People are leaving their valuables in their cars at the gym, making easy work for criminals.
They're looking for those people leaving valuables behind. They don't want to take their wallet in, nice watch, jewelry, things like that.
Doors are left unlocked, while others are leaving their items out in the open.
The occasional smash and grab where if they can see things in plain sight, sometimes they will break that window and grab it quickly.
So what tips should you follow to avoid falling victim? Jerry Ingen at Pinnacle Fitness Club says to bring your stuff inside.
Pay attention to your surroundings, look at your car, see what you've got in there, bring it in, put it in a locker.
And if you don't use a locker, make sure those items are secure in your car.
Lock them in the trunk or in a compartment that's not visible from the outside, or even purchase an aftermarket safe that's anchored in the vehicle to keep those valuables really secure.
Stretching is typically the first thing you do at the gym, but others hope you start your workout routine with something else.
Take care of your personal belongings before you come into the gym.
In Omaha, John Madden, 3 News Now.
November is National Family Caregivers Month, and we continue to highlight work being done at the Alzheimer's Association. In Nebraska, 83,000 caregivers provide support to people living with Alzheimer's. I'm joined now by Allison Griffin-Hunter, and this is a topic that speaks to you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Tell us about your personal experience as a caregiver.
Absolutely. My mom was diagnosed at the age of 54 years old, and I was only 21 at the time, and my sister was 16. And we had lost our father previously to brain cancer a few years prior. So without any other family, really, we kind of had to figure out how to do it on our own. And we turned to the Alzheimer's Association in order to get some help from them. And yeah, she just passed away actually this past February. So
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Definitely a tall task, an emotional task for any age, but at the age of 21.
Right.
Why was it important to reach out for support and support in a way of people who understood what you were going through?
Absolutely. This disease is something that no one can do on your own. You need a community of people around you to support you. And the Alzheimer's Association has been that for me. You know, they got me in touch with things that I never would have guessed that I needed, like a lawyer or working with social services or, you know, figuring out what her care plan would be. So it's important to surround yourself with a good group of people who can help provide that extra support, because it's not a one-person job at all.
Right. They've helped you. You've also then looked at ways you can advocate for and be part of this organization.
Right.
Why was it important for you to get involved in that way too?
Absolutely. When my mom was early in her disease, she was involved in spreading the word and spreading the message, showing that Alzheimer's isn't just an older person's disease, that people, you know, in their 50s and 40s can get it. And I wanted to continue that message for her as well. So I've been involved in the Walk to End Alzheimer's every year, raising funds as a team captain. And additionally, I've been a public speaker, speaking to news organizations, and also doing advocacy. So working, going to Washington, D.C. every year to speak to government officials about why Alzheimer's is a public health crisis and what we can do about it.
And on that note, the House of Representatives have passed legislation, Senate looking to take it up, and area lawmakers are in support of it. Talk about the bills right now that are in D.C. when it comes to caregivers.
Right. So recently we just had two that passed the House. One was the Younger Onset Alzheimer's Act, which provides provisions under the Older Americans Act for those under 60 who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, which is huge. I wish they had this when my mom was around, but it provides things such as transportation, caregiving, care planning, things that you wouldn't expect you would need so young, but that Alzheimer's patients do need. And the other one is the PCHETA, which is the Palliative Care and Hospice Training and Education Act, which we call PCHETA for short, and that provides more information for end-of-life care options for dementia patients as well.
If someone is sitting at home right now and they're wondering, how can I get involved in this? I'd like to be an advocate for what's going on in my life, what I've seen going on with my family members. What do you recommend they do?
Absolutely. First thing, get in touch with your Alzheimer's Association. Go to alz.org/advocacy, and you can get involved as an advocate that way. Additionally, if you know of someone with Alzheimer's, it's great to just be able to, talk to their caregiver and say, can I take them out for a weekend, or can I help you? Usually giving them a suggestion is the best way. Like, can I cook a meal for you Wednesday night? It's the best way to provide that support for them, because sometimes they don't know.
Inspiring to see what you've been doing to help out with this. Thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Black Friday is turning into Black November. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Griswold. Local and national retailers are pushing discounts throughout the entire month. But if a deal looks a little too good to be true online, it just might be. Reporter Ruta Olsenida spoke with the Better Business Bureau on how to keep your bank account safe this holiday season.
Have you started your holiday shopping yet? According to the Regional Better Business Bureau, now may be the perfect time to start.
I mean, it feels like it's Black Friday every day when you see the deals that are available out there.
We set a budget this summer and actually started buying for the holiday season back in June.
Kathy Dessenville, owner of Village Pomegranate in Countryside Village Plaza, says preparations have already begun and the deals are fast approaching.
Especially this year because we're going to lose a week between Black Friday and Christmas.
They've been advertising their sales and products for the holiday season online.
We've got websites for both of our businesses and we advertise through Google. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram.
Other local businesses are doing the same.
Yes, we have a few deals coming that we're going to start promoting on social media.
It's exciting to see all the great deals online and getting special discounts on your holiday shopping. But the Better Business Bureau has some advice.
We want people to take time, take a moment, breathe, and check the company out.
If you're not sure about the credibility of a company online, check with the BBB or look into online reviews.
If you're not able to find out any information about them, then that's probably a red flag.
So whether you're shopping online or in store,
this one's candy cane smelling and is wonderful, which you can't smell through the camera at all.
Remember to be a cautious shopper and maybe consider being an early bird shopper as well.
We're seeing fantastic deals being offered earlier and earlier.
Reporting in Omaha, Ruta Olsenida, 3 News Now.
Stay connected at 3newsnow.com.